Okay, we're going to work with Excel Unit A, so getting started with Excel 2010. The objectives for this unit is to understand spreadsheet software, tour the Excel 2010 window, understand formulas, enter labels and values, and edit cell entries, enter and edit a sample formula, switch worksheets views. So go ahead and turn to page Excel 2, which is the green section of the book, and understanding spreadsheet software. Microsoft Excel is an electronic spreadsheet program within Microsoft Office Suite. The electronic spreadsheet is an application you use to perform numeric calculations and analyze and present numeric data. So anything with charts and if you've got a lot of data, you can organize it into Excel pretty easily because it'll create more or less tables with you. In Excel, the electronic spreadsheet you work in is called a worksheet, and the file that you save is called a workbook. So that's the difference. When you use Excel, you have the ability to enter data quickly and accurately, recalculate data easily, perform what-if analysis, which is anytime you want to know what something is, change the appearance of information, create charts, share information, and build on previous work. So you can use templates as well as creating a blank one. Table A1 shows you the business tasks you can accomplish with Excel, performing calculations, graphs, reports, organization, analyzing information like that. Let's go ahead and turn over to page 4, touring the Excel 2010 window. So you should have it on your desktop, Microsoft Excel. It's the green icon with the eggs. Okay, double click to open it, and it's going to tell you that you want to activate it. You don't have to, so hit cancel. Okay, so before we get started, let's do a little bit of labeling. You can tell that it looks somewhat like Word as far as it's got your ribbon. It also has the tab bar, your quick access toolbar, your title bar, your scroll bar, your zoom level or zoom. And then from there, that's where it gets a little bit more in depth. This is called your name box, where it says cell A1. That tells you what your cell, whatever cell you are in. Right next to the name box is your formula bar. Your formula bar allows you to insert formulas or type into a cell. The cell is where you have the dark black box around it. That is your active cell or a cell, and a cell is an intersection between a column and a row. So your A, B, C, D, your letters are your columns, so your up and down part, and so these are your column headings. Your rows are 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are your row headings and your rows. So when you go to say a cell name, say you want H12. Okay, so you'll say the letter first and then the number. So let's go ahead and open. So let's go Excel. Let's go open. Remember, when you open documents, you have to go to multimedia. You'll have your folder. Find your name. Go to Excel, Unit A, and we want A-1. And let's go ahead and save this. So let's go File and Save As. Go to your multimedia folder. Once you get to your folder, go to Assignments, and we're going to create a new folder called Excel Unit A. Double click into Excel Unit A, and we are going to call this EXA-TripAdvisor Payroll Calculator. One other thing that I forgot to point out to you that's on your labeling is this is your worksheet. So this area right here, this is your worksheet. Remember, the entire collection of worksheets is a workbook once you save it. Also, down here right above where your status bar would be at is your sheet tabs. These are your different sheet tabs. You can have multiple different sheet tabs. Also, a worksheet window can contain a total of 1,048,576 rows and 16,384 columns. Okay, and then you can have 255 worksheets in a workbook. So you can have 255 sheets with all of that. So you guys can do the math of how many cells you can actually have in an entire workbook. Let's go ahead and click in cell A4. So remember, you go to A4, and that's just whatever cell you are in that's in your name box. That is considered your active cell. So let's click on cell B5 and drag. So click and hold and drag down to B14. Once you get to B14, you can release your mouse. So you're going to click and hold on B5 and drag down to B14. And that's considered a cell range. Okay, let's go ahead and turn over to page 6 and click in cell E5. And let's look at our formula bar. In our active cell, it also shows in our formula what is inside that cell. If you notice that in the worksheet it shows 640, but in the formula bar it shows us a formula. So what this formula is telling you, you know it's a formula because it starts with equals. If you are going to do a formula in Excel, you must start it with equals. Now it's saying, okay, cell B5. This is called cell referencing. It's referencing cell B5. So it's more or less taking 40 times 16 to get the 640. Okay? So click in cell F5 and let's notice that let's look at the difference. So we know that it's a formula because it starts with equals, and it's got C5 as a reference times parentheses 2 times D5. So right now it's telling us, okay, D5, we're going to multiply it twice, and then we're going to take that number times C5. Excel follows the same order of operations that you would in math. So, creating calculations in Excel, it's important to know where the formula should be. So, where's the formula located in reference to the data? Know exactly what cells and math operations are needed. Create formulas with care. Make sure you know exactly what you want your formula to accomplish before you create it. An inaccurate formula may have a far-reaching effects on the formula, or its results are referenced by other formulas. So you could end up with a problem if you don't know exactly what your formula should look like before you start creating it. You can use cell referencing rather than values. So, and you already have your data here in B5. You know that you want B5 to go times, D5. So you want to make sure that you have cell referencing. So then you can fill it down, and we'll do a formula in just a few minutes. So to determine what calculations need to be needed, pick out your what math operation you need. Make sure you make note of table A-2. Those show you what your math operations look like on the computer. So what your percents will look like, exponents will look like, things like that. So make sure you take note of that so that way you know how to put them into your computer. Let's go ahead and click in cell A15, and we're going to start creating our own formulas. So A15, and we need to type the word totals. Click in cell B15. And let's go up to our ribbon, and where it has editing, we have this little backwards looking E, which is our sigma, and we want to add, or we want auto sum. So click the button auto sum. And notice that it automatically fills in our formula for us. It says sum. Okay, sum is usually the addition of whatever numbers we put in here. With these kind of formulas, it tells us, okay, we can have number 1, number 2, number 3. So we select the cell range in the parentheses and we can press enter. And we actually get the sum of what we're looking for. Click in cell C13 and type 13 in there. Or sorry, type 6. So type 6 in cell C13. C13, 6. Press enter. Click in cell C18 and type average gross pay and press enter. Okay, let's click in cell B15, and now we want the sum of the overtime hours. So go ahead and click your auto sum button again and press enter. Or sorry, I guess that was C15. Okay, position your mouse over the lower corner, the lower right corner, till you get the little plus sign. Watch how my mouse turns to a dark plus. Click and hold and drag across to G15. So what that does is that is considered your fill handle. And let's go ahead and save and turn our page over to page 10. Let's click in cell A5. And then in your formula bar, so go up to your formula bar, and to the right of the P, and we're going to press our delete key. So it should say Peter, not P-I-E-T-R. You want to press enter. Click cell B6 and press F2 on your keyboard. F2 will allow you to go directly into the cell to start editing. And you can backspace and type 8 and then press enter. Notice that when you change numbers up here, they automatically change your formulas. Double click the word won in cell A9 and we want to change Juan to Javier and press enter. Double click cell C12 and so if you double click C12 and you press delete, it gets rid of 8 and you can put 4 in there. So then you can save. Table A3 on page 11 shows you the different what your different pointers will look like when you're working through Excel. Click in cell G5. So now we're going to actually enter a simple formula. Okay, so in cell G5, we're going to type equals. We're typing equals because we're starting a formula. And we want to click the cell E5. So we're referencing in our formula E5. Type the plus sign and click F5. and then press enter. Okay. So click in cell F5. And notice how it says right now C5 times parenthesis 2 times D5. We want to click to the right of the 2 and type 0.5. So we want it to say 2.5 times D5. And then press enter. And notice how our formulas have changed. And let's go ahead and save our work and turn the page. Okay, now we're going to switch worksheet views. So click on our View tab. And let's click on Page Layout. Page Layout view provides a more accurate view of how the worksheet will look when it's printed. The margins of the page will be displayed along with the text box for the header and footer. So you've got your header, your footer. In the left header box, so notice that there's 3. So in the left header box, type Quest Specialty Travel. In the center header box, type Trip Advisor Payroll Calculator. And in the right header box, type Week 24. So now select the range A1 to G2 and press delete. So that we're deleting everything that's in this those rows. Click the View tab, and if you do not have a check mark, or if you have a check mark next to ruler, we need to click it so it gets rid of the ruler, and then click the grid lines. We also don't want to see the grid lines. So this is exactly how it's going to look when it's printed. Okay, so click Page Break Preview. It says you can adjust your page breaks if possible, so click OK. And from the bottom page break, we want to drag down to row 21. And so now let's click back on Page Layout View. And we want to click to turn the ruler and the grid lines back on. And then we can save. Okay, once we've done all of that, we are actually done. If you continue on in the book, you'll see that the next option is choosing print options, which we will not print in this class, so you won't have to worry about those. So now that we're done, make sure you have saved, and you can close.